Tell me if you've heard this story before. It's set in a dystopian world. A small group of humans are stuck in this unforgiving wasteland that is purposefully and meticulously designed to torment them by an all-knowing, all-seeing AI that monitors them continuously and will not let them leave. They are trapped here with no hope of escaping, forever doomed to live this routine of despair and agony. This is the plot of I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. But it's also the plot of Okay, I gotta give credit to Sabersparks for the I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream comparison. I feel like I don't really have to introduce the Amazing Digital Circus given the overwhelming amount of popularity it got ever since its release, but for those unaware, Digital Circus is a pilot for a new animated series developed by Glitch Productions. Now, this hit home for me personally, because I've been a fan of the people behind Glitch Productions for a while. I used to watch their Mario 64 videos way back in the day, so I have a personal attachment to them, and seeing them become this full-fledged, successful indie animation studio is a joy for me. Digital Circus appears to be another silly little cartoon when you first look at it, but hidden within these layers of amazing animation and characters lie a horrifying psychological thriller that gets scarier the more I think about it. I love how the intro plays like an old PC game or something, which to me is foreshadowing to the sort of analog horror that is sprinkled through the pilot here and there. There's even this website thing with a promotional video for Digital Circus that literally is straight up an analog horror video. It's also interesting how the viewer seems to enter through the screen itself, much like the characters themselves have gone inside this digital world from our real world. And the intro, gosh, we see the amazing animation fully on display here, and this is easily industry level stuff. Actually, never mind, some industry productions can even reach this level of quality and expression. The intro song is great, and it gives us another little foreshadowing of the horrible fate our characters have gotten themselves into. And another foreshadowing, I didn't even realize this until much later, but the clown is missing, and we only learn of what happened to him later on. I love how nonchalantly Pomni pops into the world, no fanfare or anything, just boop. There we go, here she is. This scene is an amazing introduction to the characters and their personalities, and how each of them is handling the situation and hanging on to sanity in their own ways, with sarcasm, indifference, kindness, sadness, or just, going crazy. And things only just appear to be fun and happy, but soon enough stuff starts glitching on the floor Gmod style, and Pomni starts to freak out in confusion of what the heck is even happening. It starts setting for her, as the characters explain, that they're all stuck here forever, day after day after day after day after day. I love how subtle it is, the intrigue, the mystery of what's going on. It's so good. It's an amazing hook, and it's probably what got so many people invested in the pilot in the first place. And I really love the characters, especially Pomni. She's adorable and amazingly expressive and very much going insane, and I just kind of feel bad for her. She's a great stand-in for the viewer, asking questions that we would ask in this situation. And much like I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, we have this omnipresent AI overseeing everything in the form of Caine. Unlike AM though, I don't think Caine is evil. He appears to be just doing his job, putting on a show to entertain people, and he seems to have goodwill towards the characters. He even tries to give them an exit, but he just didn't know what an exit was. It's pretty funny. And who knows, maybe he's even a human himself. I think that's possible, right? He also doesn't seem to know what's in the void. That, and the fact that at the end of the pilot, the camera zooms out from the void into the real world, makes me think that that's the way out. Also, when Caine says,
"Why are you like this?"
I thought he said, "Why do I like this?" So, moving on. Much like I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, the character seems to lose all sense of self. Their bodies, names, memories, all gone, with only their personalities seemingly intact. And it makes me really curious about who these people were. Were they devs for the Digital Circus? Playtesters? Unrelated? It's yet another mystery. I mean, the fact that they're here in the first place makes me think that they were involved with the circus creation in some way. They also go on this random adventure set up by Caine, which makes me think that the show is happening like right now. The fact that we, the viewers, are watching this, that's a part of the story itself, in a way, I guess. Caine is setting up plots and stories to entertain us, so there can be a show to watch. And the characters just kinda go along with it, because much like they say it themselves, it helps keep them sane. It gives them a sense of purpose, this wacky place they're trapped in. And they kinda need it, because if they just stop and try looking for an exit, they will go crazy over the fact that there is none to be found. And if you go crazy, well, that happens. We later find out that many people have been trapped here and went insane and maybe even died here, I guess. Pomni is just, the latest edition. The show sort of gets divided into two plots happening simultaneously, the first one being the adventure set up by Caine, and the second one being the intrigue and mystery the characters are dealing with this world and what's going on with them. It's a pretty good setup, and I wonder if the rest of the series will follow this formula. So as they're making their way to check on the missing clown, we see the runes of past victims of the circus, marked with an X on their faces, which really makes me wonder if they're really dead or just trapped in the cellar forever, with absolutely no sense of self. A little sense of humanity was left, and then in this digital world was now completely gone, leaving only a mess of things abandoned forever. Jesus, saying this just now just gave me a shiver down my spine. This is a fate worse than death. It literally is I have no mouth and I must scream. There's so many layers of being stuck here. Like, you're stuck in the literal sense, but then you're also stuck in a body that isn't yours. Then you're also stuck in your mind. In the sense that you're forced to go in these adventures to distract yourself with the horrible truth that there is no escape. And if you think about leaving, you go insane and you just become a mindless, formless being stuck in the darkness forever. So really, death isn't even an option. You're forced to stay here and play along with the circus because that's kind of the less horrible option. So yeah, that happened to a bunch of people before and it now has happened to the clown. And we see that once he's weird like that, he just corrupts everything he touches, including the others. I love how they make a point to show that Pomni isn't a jerk on anything. She tries to help Ragada, but she gets scared by the glitches. With reason too, because we see later on that that's incredibly painful. So she runs away, and this chase scene really made me think that, man, this would make for a really good, like, 3D platform game. So Glitch Productions is stay true to their name, and Ragada is all messed up and glitchy. They love the detail. Not only is every bit of dialogue animated in its own creative way, but also something seemingly random like a character glitching out has purpose behind it. Like in this bit where Ragada's face becomes Bong. I love it. Such a small thing, but I really appreciate it. Also, the voice acting is great.
You could have asked for my consent before forcing me to see something so completely and utterly disgusting.
And Pomni goes out to find Caine to help Ragada. And I love this little scene where she just looks in the mirror, examining her new body, and we realize that this is really the first time she's ever seen herself like this. The show doesn't shy away from more introspective scenes like this, and I love it. She ends up coming across the quote-unquote exit, and this is literally the back rooms. She walks and walks and walks through endless hallways with no escape, and it really highlights the sort of liminal analog horror that is sprinkled here and there in the pilot. And while that's happening, the two plots meet each other, and we have the glitched clown duking it out with the monster of the week set up on their adventure by Caine. And I love how the characters just don't care. They just casually walk out of the scene on an escalator. It really shows how desensitized they are by everything here. And the only one actually scared and tried to rationalize everything is Pomni, who just got here, and she's still walking through the back rooms. And this scene is pretty disturbing too. She's really going insane. But then she comes across a computer, and she goes more insane. I kind of expected her to reach out to it or something, but she doesn't, so whatever. So she ends up in the void, and man, this scene is both beautiful and horrifying. Pomni just stares into the void lifelessly, and the void stares back. Her expression here is terrifying. It's just completely paralyzed. And the scariest part is this adds another layer of entrapment, because not only there's everything else that I've mentioned before, but also considering that the void is most likely the only exit they have, we come to the realization that they can't even look at the exit, because if you do, you end up like Pomni here. Like I said, there are so many layers of imprisonment. You can't leave, you can think of leaving, and you can't even look at the exit. But yeah, Caine saves her right away with no problems, and he just sort of right away solves everyone's problems. He puts the glitch monster on a dark hole where there are more of them, again, stuck there forever. No mind, no body, no hope or anything. It's very scary. And Caine explains that the exit that Pomni went through was just a creation of his, which is another reason why I think he's not evil. He tried to help the characters by giving them an exit, but he just didn't know what an exit was. It's kind of cute, I guess. And it's with that the short ends, with the camera slowly zooming in on Pomni's face as she hears Kinger explain how they can't feel anything in this digital world. They can't feel hunger, they can't feel tired, they can't feel anything. Pomni doesn't say a single thing after she comes out of the void. It sets in for her that this isn't a dream, she's stuck here. She just silently contemplates the reality of her situation as the music booms and we zoom out of their new home, into the void and then into the real world, which is what makes me think that the void is their exit and we see the same computer that Pomni saw earlier. Anyway, fun credit song. What an amazingly haunting pilot. The level of animation and creativity displayed here is way beyond what you would expect from an indie animated pilot. The Amazing Digital Circus is wonderful, and it is absolutely a barely disguised horror series. And I cannot wait to see more. Thanks for watching.